Come with us to day 2 of Alton Towers Scarefest. We stayed in Splash Landing's hotel last night, so started our day with breakfast and then headed to the park via the entrance near Galactica. We then headed to guest services to pick up our ride access pass for the day, as well as book some scare mazes with our carers tickets. We started the day off on Wickerman and then headed up to 13. It was a Saturday, so it was extremely busy, so we did head up to Gangster Granny and waited in a short queue. Our ride access pass had opened up, so we managed to go down to the Smiler and have a ride, and then back up to Hex. 13 had closed down, so we had lunch at Eastern Express and waited outside for it to reopen, but sadly it didn't, so we ended up walking down and had another ride on Wickerman, and then had a walk around the Sea Life Centre afterwards. We then walked up to the Curse and had a ride, and then finally got to try Coach House Confectionaries, which we've been looking at the last few years but never managed to get there when it was open. They sell lots of sweet treats, ice creams and milkshakes, but we went for an ice cream and a milkshake. My mum really rated the ice cream, and the milkshake was so nice, however there was a thick strawberry-like jelly on the bottom, and it made it too sickly for me, but overall was really good. We then headed up to Nemesis Reborn, which was an 150-minute queue, as it was only running one train this weekend. However, it was so worth it, and definitely great to get back on there. We had a little look in the shop and at the model in the Nemesis shop, which is one of my favourite things in the park at the minute. The sun was beginning to set, so we took a walk back up to the main entrance area so that we could have a look in the Tower Street gift shop and at all of the Scarefest decorations. At this point, all the queues in the park were absolutely huge, so we were just waiting for our ride access pass to open up again, and then we managed to get on the Smiler. We then got in the queue for Oblivion, but unfortunately it broke down, so we dashed over to 13 for one last ride before our scare mazes. Our first maze of the evening was the Attic, which we've done every year since it opened. Unfortunately, while we were in the queue, there was a medical emergency in the maze which delayed us by around half an hour. The communication from staff was really poor, as no one told us what was going on and the queue was at a complete standstill. Eventually the maze reopened and we had quite a good run through, but it's definitely feeling quite boring now. We were now 1 hour late for our next scare maze, which was Altonville Mine Tour's Tiny's Revenge, so we quickly rushed over and managed to get on before it closed. We had a great run through of this maze, and I do think it is the most scary maze at Alton Towers this year, but it might have just been a good run through. It was around half an hour before the park closed, so we managed to dash down to Wickerman for a final night ride. We then headed out of the park for the day and grabbed a hot dog from Tower Street before we left. The monorail queue was absolutely huge, so we decided to walk back to the car, which was parked near the Splash Landings Hotel. We had a great Scarefest weekend, but would love to see some big changes for Scarefest next year. And here's my day 2 ride access pass.